Well, hello, everybody. This is Nicole Whitlock with the eCom Sellers Podcast. And today I am doing the podcast solo. Miss Kelly is not available today. She is actually, uh, you know, Mother's Day weekend, Mother's Day week, going, back to work on Monday. So she will be joining us back next week. And we're always excited about that. Well, with that being said, I hope that all of you had an amazing Mother's Day weekend. I hope that you got some great sales the week prior and the week prior to that. I hope that you are listing your items that are for Father's Day. And, I hope that you're listing other things that are going to be selling, like graduation stuff, wedding stuff, and other products, including private label products and other things like that. There's a lot of conferences that are coming up. There's a lot of live events that are coming up. So I hope that you get a chance to attend some of those. We mentioned them in some of the prior podcasts. You can always go back and look at the replays just in case you missed any of them. So we're going to go ahead and get into the news. And with that, let me go ahead and share my screen. Please share this out with a friend. Let somebody else know about the eCom Sellers podcast so they can come and check it out, because we do this every single week, or at least we work really hard to be able to do it every single week. So let me share my screen. All right, here we go. Okay, so the first article comes to us from CNN Business, and it happens to do with what's happening with some of the stores in the bigger cities. So they're talking about the number of store closings in some of the big cities. We've talked about store closings here and there, and there's a difference between like the entire store chain is closing versus a couple of store locations here and there. So in some of the bigger cities, we're seeing some Targets, some Walmarts closing. And the reason that they're saying a lot of them are several forces in play is that the chains are pushing or coming out of those bigger cities is because people are working from home, and so they're ordering more online. The rents for some of the space in which they are renting is extremely high. Some of it has to do with crime and public safety, and some of it has to do with difficulty hiring workers. Let me just tell you, difficulty hiring workers is a real thing. And I know a lot of us, when you go out and you want to be able to go out and eat, or you want to be able to go to the store, and it's just like they have long lines, and it's because they're not able to hire quality staff. Like a lot of the staff, what we used to experience prior to COVID, and the staff where they are now is just completely different from a mindset standpoint. And it's really interesting and also challenging. I mean, I went to Baskin Robbins 31 flavors this past weekend, and I got 2 scoops of ice cream because I wanted it for Mother's Day. I didn't need it, but I wanted it. And the fact that the person handed me the spoon with their thumb on the mouth part was like, wow, okay, we're here now. So anyway, wasn't expecting that. And again, I think it's indicative of what you're seeing in a lot of the stores everywhere, and also restaurants and other places of business where the public has to go in. The quality of staff is not the same. The person who's training the staff is already overworked and stressed out, so the staff is not getting good training, or the mindset of the staff that's getting the training, they're not interested. They don't care. They want to be on their phones. They want to, whatever they want to do. So I agree that there is a serious problem with staffing. I will say that. And then, the rents being high, rents are going up. So I'm sure that that is a contributing factor, which is bad. So, in any case, so that article comes to us from CNN Business, and you can go check it out on your own. The next article comes to us from Reuters, and it has to do with Amazon optimizes delivery network for speedier delivery and lower costs. Well, we talked about, I want to say probably 2 or 3 podcasts ago, that Amazon was moving towards more of a regional type of structure. And as part of that regional type of structure, I'm sure this is playing into them working on making sure that the regions are split up so that they can have faster delivery. And I'm sure that there are more things that are in play there. So you can come and check out this article directly from Reuters, but there's probably a direct connection to the regional move that they recently made. The next article comes to us from Reuters, and it's Japan's Rakuten offloads one of its smaller businesses. So they're talking about Rakuten's losses, And I don't know if you are a reseller, but if you're a reseller using the Rakuten Chrome extension to find, great deals and the best price and all of those things, is a good thing. And I have used it for years. I continue to use it. There's other cashback sites or sites that can help you to find better deals, but I think I have like two accounts, maybe three. So a lot of the companies, and we've talked about this, have all been experiencing losses. As we talked about, Amazon, eBay, Etsy, like all of the platforms are reporting lower sales traffic over in first quarter, and we don't know the numbers, of course, for second quarter because we're still in second quarter. So this doesn't directly surprise me, and we know that there's going to be huge investments in technology, which will by default change things. So we'll see how this plays out and if there's a direct impact to how we use Rakuten or if it's more something that's going to be experienced in other countries. The next article comes to us from Forbes, and Forbes is talking about live streaming is not going to take over e-commerce. I don't know. I feel like in some ways it is, but with people live streaming, like we have the sites like Whatnot, which is more of an auction site, and then we have Comments Sold and live shopping or shopping live shopping, I think is what it's called. There's a few different sites, and we're going to be covering those sites in the future of what the sites are. And there's always been a QVC and HSN and all of those, but they're saying that it's not going to take over e-commerce. I feel like, TikTok is bananas. And a lot of people are selling through TikTok. It has become a huge thing. So I don't know if I agree with Forbes because people are now doing the same thing with selling things on YouTube Shorts and Instagram Reels and, Facebook Stories or Facebook Reels. So I think live shopping is going to be a thing. That's a huge thing. And, because people are into watching short form videos on stuff. And so much so that it's not really, well, Amazon Live, there is an Amazon Live, there is. But Amazon does have the videos that are reviews that they're looking for influencers to record videos on their products. And so again, it's not necessarily direct live streaming, but it is video. Video selling is a thing. I think live streaming selling is still going to be a thing, the combination of the two. So we'll see how this plays out. But this article comes to us from Forbes, and you can check it out yourself. The next article happens to be a blog post that's inside of LinkedIn, and it's talking about live shopping brings in 32 million. That is not small change. And again, live streaming is a thing, including Poshmark making their platforms a lot more friendly to be able to do live stream, and some of the other platforms jumping on the bandwagon. So I don't know. We're going to see how this plays out. We're going to see what the other platforms decide they're going to do in the future. You can go and check out this article directly on LinkedIn. It's in LinkedIn News, and the title is Live Shopping to Bring in 32 Million. You can also go and look at their reference documents that they use to be able to write this article. This next article comes to us from Fox Business, and Fox Business is talking about the inflation jumped to 0.4% in April as prices remain stubbornly high. So the consumer price index moderates to 4.9% in April, but inflation remains painfully high. And I think the picture that was displayed here was about a person at a grocery store. Inflation is high, groceries are high, and people are feeling the pinch, and they're buying the necessities until inflation either corrects itself or things go down. It's a cycle, and the cycle that we're currently in, It's going to be, it is what it is, and it's going to be what it's going to be. And so we're all making adjustments for that. The thing that I would encourage you to do is, I've been talking about this for the last couple of months, is, focus on the necessities, because at the end of the day, when people decide to cut back on luxuries or cut back on optional things or reduce their impulse buying, which they are to some extent, but not to the degree that it's shutting down TikTok, trust me. um People are still sometimes impulse buying stuff off of TikTok, trust me on that one. um then I would sell those things that are necessities. People will always gravitate towards necessities, things that they need for daily living or things that they need to get by. And there will be some impulse buying and some luxury buying as we get closer to Q4. But right now, that's not where it is. So think about the necessities. If you haven't been sourcing the necessities, you should be sourcing the necessities. You should be selling the necessities. We have inside of eCom Sellers Academy for active Academy members, we email out a list of 10 wholesale suppliers every single week. That is 520 wholesale suppliers every single year that you gain access to the list that you can reach out to and establish wholesale accounts. And that will hopefully give you access to some suppliers that sell necessities. Whatever you're going to go buy, write it down, because whatever you need to buy for your family, somebody somewhere else needs to buy those same things. So think about how conscious you are of the money that you spend today. And if you're not, then think about, if you only had the ability to buy necessities, what would you be buying? But you can go check out and then source those items. You can go and check this article out at Fox Business. And again, it's about the inflation. The next article comes to us from the Wall Street Journal. I don't know if we're going to get access to this article. So the article, no, we're not, because what happens is, depending on when I click on the link, then the article is not visible. But this one is talking about India starting to work on giving China a run for its money. If you get a chance to read this article, that's great. There may be some other articles out there about India becoming or working to become the next manufacturing giant. So if you haven't been sourcing from India, if you haven't considered sourcing from India, I think that you should join Megala's group, India Sourcing in India, the India Sourcing Facebook group. It's a Facebook group. You should join it. Look up Megala and look up Sourcing in India on Facebook. Look for the sourcing group. She's got a Facebook group. They do lives inside of that Facebook group, and they showcase different suppliers. So I would definitely do that, because if you're always waiting for inventory to come in from China, start looking into India. India's population is large. They are working on becoming a next manufacturing giant. So that's what the article is about. And there will be other articles. So you can just do a Google search for other articles regarding India and manufacturing. Okay, so this next article comes to us from Gizmodo. Maybe it's Gizmodo, whatever. So ChatGPT has been very popular since its release in late November of last year, 2022. And it's continuing to gain momentum. People are using ChatGPT 4 is out if you want to pay for it. But they're talking about the chat bots are using human contractors. They get paid $15 an hour. Now, does that matter to you? Does it not matter to you? I don't know. I think it's interesting, and possibly, like, I don't know. I feel like it's somewhat wrong, but in any case, to do some data labeling. So I think this is an interesting article. If you're using ChatGPT, you can use them to use it to help you to create listings. You can use it to help you to do keyword research, to do titles. There's so many cool things that are within the Open AI tool. But you want to know, like, okay, if you're looking for a job and maybe you want to be hired by them, or that what they are doing to improve the product, because there's been some complaints, some issues, some concerns about the tool. And I think Google's chat product is really close to coming to market and being publicly available. I think there was an article out there that Google is that they're going to be updating, like when you do searches in Google, you're going to start seeing some different types of results. I wonder what that's going to how that's going to impact people who have done uh, paid Google ads. I don't know. We'll see. The next article actually comes directly to us from eBay. This is regarding eBay's grant program. They are awarding 50 small businesses more than $500,000 worth of grants. So recipients will receive $10,000 in cash, technology and training, and applications are due by June the 9th. So it's up and running grants. I think when you click on the link, it takes you to Hello Alice. And so you can go and apply if you want to be one of the 50 companies that gets $10,000 in grants. I think this is a wonderful thing that eBay is doing. So you can go and check that out. You don't have to be logged into your back office to gain access to this link. But yeah, I would definitely apply before June the 9th if you are wanting to get some support, some assistance. This next article actually comes to us from Amazon. So Amazon Business is also giving away some grants. And so the grant deadline is May the 21st. They are giving away this year over $250,000 in grants to a total of 15 recipients. So there'll be one grand prize recipient and 4 finalists and 10 semifinalists. And starting on June the 15th, Amazon business customers will have a chance to vote for their favorite entrepreneur to receive a grant. I think that's wonderful. It's interesting. And also, so if you are a person you think you qualify, you can definitely do a Google search to find this article. You can log into your back office. You can also check your emails from Amazon and check your emails from eBay if you are selling on those platforms so that you know how to apply and where to apply. The next article comes to us from Digital Commerce 360, and Digital Commerce 360 is talking about Wayfair's revenue that has declined for the 8th consecutive quarter. So that creates the question, like, is Wayfair the next one on the list to potentially do a bankruptcy? Who knows? We may not know, but Wayfair is struggling, and that's the 8th consecutive quarter. Like, that's a long time to have declining sales. Now, I will say this, if you go back and look at the history of Amazon, Amazon was not making money for many, 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 many quarters for many years. But they were also they were steady growth, but they were not profitable. So I don't know. We'll see what happens with Wayfair. We'll monitor this and see if things, turn around. But 8 consecutive quarters, that's not good. They said the revenue was down 7.3% year over year to 2.8 billion. The majority of the revenue, 2.4, is from the US, which is down 5% year over year. So US sales are down. So that's a lot. But in any case, you can go and check out this article directly by going to Digital Commerce 360, and hopefully you'll find the information helpful. So with that, I forgot to mention at the beginning of this podcast that today's topic during our eCom Sellers podcast, we cover e-commerce news, tips, and more. And I went straight into the news, but we do cover e-commerce news, tips, and more. And today's tip is regarding things to consider when you're doing product research. Okay. So if you want to grab a notebook and pen, we encourage you to share this out. Let people know about the eCom Sellers podcast so that they can participate and check it out. So the podcast is actually moving its time. We're going to be moving to 9 a.m. on Tuesday mornings, 9 a.m. Central Standard Time, Tuesday mornings. So if you want to check out the podcast, you can definitely tune in Tuesday mornings, 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. We broadcast live on the eCom Sellers Academy Facebook page, and then the video is uploaded to our YouTube channel as well. So you can go to the Facebook fan page for eCom Sellers Academy to see the live broadcast. I think it's also available on eCom Sellers Summit and eCom Minute. So you can check out the podcast broadcast on those pages and let a friend know. We'll also broadcast it on Instagram and Twitter. I don't know if it gets broadcast on LinkedIn, but I'll double check that. But it's going to be Tuesdays at 9 a.m. So just mark your calendars, Tuesdays at 9 a.m., giving us more time to get more things done and to be able to compile everything for the news. So, in any case, write it down. We will see you next week, Tuesday at 9 a.m. instead of our regular time of our previous time, which was Mondays at 6. We've kind of moved it around a little bit. I think this is going to be the landing place. It's going to be Tuesdays at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. So please share that out with a friend and let somebody else know about the eCom Sellers Podcast, where we share e-commerce news, tips, and more. So with that, we're going to get into today's topic, which is things to consider when doing product research. There are so many things to consider, but we're just going to give you a few things to think about when you're doing product research. Whether you're using a tool to do the product research, whether you're manually doing the research yourself, these are some of the things that you could or should consider when doing product research. So the first one is the bestsellers rank. The bestsellers rank is helpful even if you're not selling on Amazon. So there's an asterisk there, like even if you're not selling on Amazon, you can actually go into your Amazon buying app, or you can just go to the Amazon.com page and take a look at the bestseller rank for uh, the product that you're looking at. Remember that for Amazon, the lower the number, the faster the item is moving or the faster the item is selling. So the sales velocity is much faster if the number is lower. Knowing what the average numbers are per category and what you should be considering is another thing that you probably want to learn so that you have a better grip on what it is I should be looking at. So I'm going to give you an example. What the sales rank is for a product that's in books, that's selling and then showing up in the Amazon top 100 is completely different than what the sales rank might be for an item that's still in the Amazon top 100 in toys or in household goods. So in books, it might be the sales rank might be $1 million and it's still in the Amazon top 100. Amazon top 100 means that that product is still in the Amazon's top 100 for the category, meaning it's selling. So when you look at, you can do a Google search on Amazon top 100 to see what the top 100s are, and know that if you see 1 million in books, but then when you go over to toys or you go over to household goods, like household goods, the sales rank might be around 50,000, and then toys, for it to still show up in the top 100 in household goods of products that are selling on Amazon. Same thing with toys, like the sales rank might be in 40,000 and still be within the Amazon top 100. Now, we love it when the sales rank is like 5 or the sales rank is 500, or even when the sales rank is 5,000. We love that for any of the categories. That means that item is hot and it's really selling. But paying attention to the sales rank for a product, whether you sell on Amazon or not, Amazon is still a great platform to do product research. It is. You can get a lot of great information by Googling Amazon Top 100 or just by going to the buying page, going to not your seller app, because if you're not a seller, you don't have a seller app, but going to where you just go shopping, scroll down and look for the sales rank. And if you see in parentheses top 100, you know this product is selling. Also look for related items, but we'll get to that. The next is the product rating. The product rating, if a product is doing well and its rating is above 4 or above, that's a good thing. You know, when you get down to 3s or 2s or even 1s, that's a little dicey, meaning people have given it reviews and the rating for the product on Amazon or on eBay. Look for the product on eBay, look for the product on Walmart. Every single one of the platforms has a 5-star rating. Okay. So since they all have 5-star ratings, just go see what's happening on those different platforms. Again, if you don't have a research tool, This is a great way to make sure that you are not missing important information on whether or not you could potentially be selling this product or should potentially be selling this product. If it's like, 4 on Amazon and 2 on Walmart, you might want to start reading those reviews. It could be the supplier or the seller has gotten some counterfeit stuff or some bad stuff. It could be biased reviews or it could be good information. Go see what it looks like on eBay. And then if you're able to find a supplier that's actually selling the product, meaning a wholesale supplier or distributor or whatever, go look at the rating there, especially if you go into Alibaba and AliExpress. Like, you want a sales rank above 4. So I'm just saying. But look at the product rating. And don't just use one source for that. Check a couple of different sources for the product rating. Okay? And read the negative reviews. That might give you some insights into what's really happening. Eligibility. So depending on the platform that you're selling on, if you're selling on Amazon, you might not be approved to be able to sell that product. You may have to request approval. It may be gated for you. Gated, ungated, approved, not approved. So you want to make sure that you do what you need to be able to sell that product, to get approved to be able to sell that product. There are windows in life on when you're selling on Amazon, if you've been selling consistently and you've been consistently active, where Amazon will auto approve you to be able to sell different things in different categories. You just need to request approval, and then over time, Amazon, with consistency and with activity, Amazon may automatically approve you to be able to sell that product. And then there are other times where you're going to have to take action in order to get approved to be able to sell a product. So you just need to be prepared for that. You need to be prepared for the need to know whether or not you can or cannot sell the product. Now, there are times when you're selling on eBay or you're selling on some other platform where you do have to go through their approval process. It's not the same as Amazon. Amazon has one of the tougher approval processes, where some of the other platforms are much easier. Well, there's fewer products that you are limited to selling. Amazon has the most restrictions, the most limitations in place, and some of the other platforms have the least restrictions in place. So I'm not going to say it's going to be easier to get approval to be able to sell the products on those other platforms, but just know that there are platforms that have fewer restrictions. So just because you can't sell a specific name brand on Amazon doesn't mean you can't sell it on some of the other platforms, depending on which platforms you're selling on. So just check to see whether or not you have the ability to be able to sell that product, whether or not you're approved. And if you do need to get approval, what do you need to do to get approval? Okay. Or just request and see what happens. They can always just tell you no. Sales history. Again, if you have access to tools, you can see the sales history. And eBay, if you don't have access to tools, like, you can go and look at sold for that particular product, and you can see what's happening. If you see a product and it's sold 5 times in a day on eBay, and it's consistently done that for over 7 days, then you know that item is selling like hotcakes. It's in demand, and it's good information. But if the product is selling like once every 3 months or every 6 months on eBay, like, because you have the ability to sort by sold, then you can see the sales history that way. And it may not be moving as much, may not be getting as much traction, may not be getting as many sales. So you can do that on eBay. For Amazon and for Walmart and some of the other platforms, there are different tools that can help you with sales history. Keepa is one of those. Data Spark is another one. Helium 10. You can go and look at the sales history and see what it was doing. Jungle Scout does some estimations, so you can see what is happening with this particular product, and when is it hot and when is it not, and what is it doing on the different platforms. How much is it selling? When is it the best time to list it? What is the price in which people are listing it for, so that you can make some decisions. So I refer to this all day, every day, as making data-driven decisions. Because everything prior to this, there's some data there and some helpful information, but this is the most data-driven decisions. And you won't have sales history on brand new stuff. Like, you will not have that yet. So brand new stuff, you won't have history, but you might be able to look at the history for something that is similar or related. So that may give you some insight. If this particular item is similar and related, there may be some level of correlation between the two. And that may give you some insight if you don't have that history. Do you have to have those tools to be able to know that information? No. You could use the bestseller rank information on Amazon. Again, one of the easiest and best tools to give you some insight on what's happening. Now, that's current information, that's not historical. So you'll know whether or not it's moving now. But if you pay attention to it and you've been monitoring, let's say you're focused on a niche, you're focused on a specific niche. If you've been paying attention and you've been monitoring it, then that information is helpful to you because you've been paying attention, you've been making notes. That means you've been collecting data on this particular thing. You've been checking to see when did it get into the Amazon top 100? Okay, then now next week or the following week, okay, it's no longer the Amazon top 100. So the sales on this thing is fluctuating or they're getting cold. So you're making your own assessment. The other thing is don't overlook the stuff that you're already selling and go look at the sales history for some of the stuff you're already selling. Again, there's so many different ways to gain access to sales history if you don't have tools. I don't encourage people to buy tools until they are profitable. Once you are profitable and you want to use some tools to help you to make better data-driven decisions, definitely do so. But you need to make a little bit of money before you start blowing all your money on tools. Now, you can start off with tools, but you also need to be able to have some money to be able to buy potentially the volumes and quantities that are needed. So if you've got deep pockets, definitely do what you feel comfortable doing. If you don't have deep pockets, definitely learn a little bit about some of the platforms and invest a little bit more time. But you can get to the information that you need, and you need to pay attention to your own sales. That's information that will help you. And that's data-driven decisions. The next is looking at the competition. How many sellers are on this particular listing, or how many people are selling the same product? And in some cases, how many do they have? So some sellers, they may have bought a pallet of something. So they got 5,000 of it. And, on Amazon, there's a rotation of the buy box. There's also a rotation of the buy box that's something sent on Walmart. On eBay, it's all, whoever shows up in the search engine. So there's different ways in which you can do some analysis on what your competition may or may not be. But knowing the number of sellers, and you can decide whether or not it's worth jumping in or whether or not you're going to have a different spin on it. Or, if it's a hot item, then all day, every day, I'm going to jump in. If I got it for a reasonable price, it's still hot. It's still going to be hot. I'm definitely going to do my best to sell it, regardless of the competition. We have so many stories of stuff that we have sold where it didn't matter. Like this thing was selling like hotcakes off the shelves, and it was a wonderful time then. But it's not always like that. So paying attention to the number of sellers that are on a listing or number of sellers that are selling the same thing, looking at their numbers. Again, that's part of the data-driven decisions. But again, if you don't have direct access to that information, you can pay attention to some specific things. And just do a search on the platform that you're selling on. Let's see how many people are selling the exact same thing or something that's very similar. Knowing or understanding the demand for the product within the next 4 to 16 weeks. So you could source something now, and the demand may be really hot for it in 16 weeks. So that's fine. That's great. Sometimes you're buying inventory that's way in advance, especially if you can get it for a deep discount. And getting it for a deep discount, buying it way in advance is a good thing. If the demand is going to be hot, we'll use Father's Day is coming up. Back to school is coming up. Believe it or not, school's not even out, and back to school is going to be coming back up. And people are going to buy stuff. Why? Because kids never stop growing, and kids never stop needing stuff for school. Okay? So they're going to need stuff for school. Sourcing back to school now, which happens to be May, so that I can turn around and sell stuff in July is not a stupid idea. But a lot of people don't look at it that way. So pay attention to what's coming up. What's in, I call it the path of buying. What's in the path of buying? What's coming up that people will need to be able to buy stuff? Will the demand be hot for this particular item? So sourcing something in September for Christmas, again, not a bad idea. That's still within that 4 to 16 week window. You could even expand that, to 20 weeks or 24 weeks if you wanted to. But it's sort of like future planning. to some extent. So sourcing things in advance if you got a really good deal and listing that item, doing the product research, like, is this the next hot thing? When certain movies come out, people lose their minds. And so they go out and buy all the stuff for it or whatever. Um, it's going to be a thing. I think this year, I think Barbie is going to be real interesting. I know that the movie is really for adults and not for little kids. I feel like it's for adults and not for little kids, but we're going to see. There may be pieces of it that's for little kids, but there's going to be, I think Barbie's going to have a spike in sales this year. I think The Little Mermaid's going to have a spike in sales. We definitely know the Guardians of the Galaxy are going to have a spike in sales. Spider-Man is going to have a spike in sales. Like, these are all things that are coming up. The demand is going to be interesting for those things. And so Spider-Man back to school is going to be a thing. Backpacks, lunch pails, notebooks, pencils, pens, pencil carriers, socks, shoes, jackets, phone case covers. Like, yeah, it's going to be a thing. So pay attention to whether or not it's going to be in demand in the next 4 to 16 weeks. Upcoming events, holiday seasons, and movies. Like, I literally could have merged these two together. But again, what are the upcoming events? Like, when does football season start? When does, baseball season? I think baseball season's already started. But holidays, like, what are the holidays that are coming up? Seasons, winter, spring, summer, fall. Movies, like, I could go on and on. There's things that are coming up that are sort of cyclical, and people buy things for things. The whatever of the month. So during October, we know that that's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. We know that August is Autism Awareness Month. Like, there's different things that are the month of something. And these are all important to different people. So depending on what it is that you're selling, you could be selling print on demand. These are things to think about. Future potential and future demand. So this is really, for me, when I'm doing product research, it's just all about the stuff that I come across that's on clearance. All of the stuff that's on clearance. So a bunch of the Mother's Day stuff is about to go on clearance. Will Mother's Day sell again in the next 9 to 18 months? Absolutely. People are going to be buying gifts. Anything that you can buy on clearance right now for Mother's Day will resell for Christmas. And after Christmas, it will resell for Valentine's Day. It's like a cycle. So you have to pay attention to that kind of stuff. So what's the future potential and the future demand for this particular product? Father's Day. Anything that doesn't sell for Father's Day, when can it sell again? Christmas. Like, just think through it. Think through it. All of the school supply stuff. Yeah, getting stuff on clearance. So Easter, if I bought Easter on clearance, would I be able to sell it again in the next 12 months? The answer is yeah. There will be a spike in sales for Easter starting in February of next year. It will go February, March, April, and then stuff will be put on clearance. And so if there's a future demand or a future potential of this item selling like hotcakes based on the data-driven decisions, like, go do the research. Yes. Yeah, it'll sell. Okay. I might acquire it. Now, some of the things that I mentioned, like if you're talking about Easter, you need to see what the expiration date is for some of that stuff, because you're not going to be able to sell it. I'm just telling you, because it'll be past the expiration date if it's food. But if it's not food, like, sell that stuff. Buy it on clearance. Buy it when you can get it for 25 cents and resell it. Okay. There's a lot of times that you can get stuff on clearance that is below wholesale. Trust me. The next is the availability of an item or the rarity of an item. So if it's a popular item and every wholesaler selling it, like, we know that Alibaba has it, and there's a whole bunch of different manufacturers, distributors on Alibaba selling the thing, and everybody's got it. Great. But if it's a rare thing and it's going to take a lot for you to be able to get it, or the demand is going to be there in the future, but it's not there right now, again, there's an opportunity there. So do some research, see what you can find out. Some things that are readily available, yeah, maybe you should sell them, maybe you shouldn't. Is there going to be a demand for it? And things that are extremely rare, Again, sometimes the rarer things are, the more money you can demand for it or you can request, you can list it for. But how difficult is it going to be for you to get it? How many hoops do you have to run through and go through to be able to sell this particular item? So, knowing a product's either availability or rarity is going to be extremely important. And when you're doing your product research. Okay. Related items. So maybe you were able to find the item in blue, and the blue has been selling like hotcakes. And you did not know that there was also a white or a purple or a yellow that was available, because the listing there, it doesn't exist yet. So it's your opportunity to put it up. Or you didn't know that they had a larger size of it or a smaller size of it. Again, another opportunity. I'll give you an example of that. Like the little Yodas, like you can get the Yoda stuffed animal, the little, well, plush, I guess, and then the Yoda doll, and they got it in different sizes, and then you've got the plush and it's different sizes. But Yoda was like, it's still hot, but it was a hot item and people wanted it. It didn't matter if it was a Yoda keychain or if it was a Yoda Christmas oh gosh, Christmas bulb, Christmas decoration, like for a tree or whatever, like to go on a tree. It was crazy. And so Yoda is hot. And you could get the same item just in different makes and models, or different colors, different sizes. So do that research on your product research. If you're finding that this thing is in demand, you're finding that there's a lot of competition, you're finding that the blue is available, but the pink is rare, or the white or yellow is rare, maybe there's an opportunity for you there, or in some other form versus a plush versus a Christmas bulb versus or Christmas decoration versus a physical figurine when I reference Yoda. So go think about related items. And then alternative items like replacements. Um, we use an example of like different cameras. Cameras are a huge thing to be able to record and do podcasts now. People are buying cameras, and so cameras have lens covers and swap out lenses and different types of accessories that go with it. So maybe you're not going to sell the camera because you can't get approved. There's a process to get approved to be able to sell the cameras, or you don't want to sell something of that high value. But maybe the carrying case, maybe the lens replacement, maybe the this, maybe the that. Those may be things that you know that this is a hot item. You don't want to sell the item. Maybe you want to sell the related things. I can remember somebody that I know that they were selling the replacement straws to go in water bottles, these water bottles that had the different ounces of water on them, and people were selling the replacement straws to go in there. Again, big deal. Or they were selling the straw cleaners, another big deal. So again, it's an accessory to something that is already a hot item that is selling. So when you look at this item, think about what are the things that people need to either use this item, store this item, carry this item, handle this item, protect this item, or things that might break off from this item. Think about that. If it's a hot item, then try to sell the replacements and or the accessories. And then bundled opportunities. Again, when you're doing your product research, using those data-driven decisions, when you find something that you know is going to sell, think about selling it in multiples, multi-packs, or selling it with something else that is hot selling, something that other people are going to want to buy anyway, that's going to be in demand, that people are interested in. So look for the bundled opportunities in some of the products. So I hope this information is helpful. I hope you use it to help you make better data-driven decisions when it comes to product research. Use these things to help you decide whether or not you should or should not sell this product after you've done a little bit of the product research on it. Okay. So if you are a person that would love to get the list of 10 wholesale suppliers every single week, that's 520 suppliers a year. You get it absolutely free as an Academy member. You can join eCom Sellers Academy for $17.99 a month, or you can sign up for the lifetime and never pay again. And you'll always get a wholesale list. You'll also always get an arbitrage list every single week. With the arbitrage list, you can use that to help you make decisions every single day when it comes to your business. So you can use it to help you source products. You can use it to help you find your steady eddies, the things that you're going to be able to make money on a regular basis, or things that you can sell over and over again. Your replenishables, your consumables. In addition to that, as an Academy member, you get 20% off of all product services and summits. So it's either $17.99 a month, or you can pay for the lifetime and just never pay again. So I encourage you to sign up. If you need a list of wholesale suppliers, you can get one every single week as an Academy member. Just wanted to let you know that we have 2 free webinars that are coming up. They are double headers, so they're on the same day. Webinar Wednesdays, there's 2 webinars. There is how to be a successful Etsy seller, and that's at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time on the 17th. And so you can go to bit.ly / this is all lowercase, sell on Etsy WW. Again, bit.ly / sell on Etsy WW. That means Webinar Wednesday. Or you can scan the QR code on your screen to be able to sign up right now for the free Webinar Wednesday workshop that is coming up on Wednesday at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. Then the second doubleheader is selling on Amazon. So if you want to learn about selling on Amazon, you can come to Webinar Wednesdays at 7. And it is bit.ly / sell on Amazon WW. Again, bit.ly / sell on Amazon WW. And it's at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. So go register, and you can scan the QR code for the bit.ly and use that to help you get started on Amazon, or to improve what you're currently doing on Amazon, or just to use it to help you make better data-driven decisions on Amazon. All right. So with that, I hope this information is helpful. I hope you use it to help you make better data-driven decisions. So let me stop sharing my screen. Remove. All right. So my name is Nicole Whitlock, and this is the eCom Sellers Podcast. Again, we do this every single Tuesday now at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. I got to get used to the time. So we do it every Tuesday at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. Please share this out with a friend. Let somebody else know about the eCom Sellers Podcast, and we hope to see you in another podcast. We will say goodbye for now. Thanks so much for hanging out.